It involves a dentist who's accused of performing allegedly unnecessary and extremely painful procedures on young, low-income children while charging the government huge sums of money for his handiwork. Here's ABC's Matt Gutman.
A horde of angry moms armed with placards. Not what you'd expect to see at your child's dental clinic.
More than 100 families have come forward with allegations against a Jacksonville dentist.
Families claiming Florida dentist Dr. Howard Schneider wrecked their kids' mouths, all the while making a mint from Medicaid.
What would you say to Schneider if he was sitting here?
I do want to ask him questions.
Like what?
Why? Like, what were you thinking?
The beginning of the end for Dr. Schneider came in 2014 when Brandy Motley first took her 6-year-old Brielle to Dr. Schneider's Jacksonville clinic. The veteran dentist had been in practice for 50 years and was known for being one of a few who helped kids from low-income families on Medicaid.
He tells me that one of her teeth needed to be removed as soon as possible. It was an emergency removal.
A routine procedure to extract one tiny baby tooth, but she says after waiting 3 hours in the lobby,
Nurse assistant came and got me, and she said there's been an accident. That's when I seen the blood.
She's in a hallway bleeding.
Blood on the floor and everything. She was hyperventilating, and she was face first on the floor.
Brielle has scratches, bruises, and a mouthful of bloody gauze through which she spits out a far different story.
She says, "Mommy, they're lying to you. He was choking me while he was pulling my teeth."
Brielle, you said the doctor was choking you? 2 hands? 1 hand?
1 hand.
1 hand? Did it hurt? A lot? Did you say anything to him?
I said, I want my mommy.
What did he say?
He said no.
Brandy, it's hard for you to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, I trusted him, you know. And to know I put her through that by trusting him, it hurts.
On the way home, Brandy takes a closer look inside Brielle's mouth, and she says she makes a grim discovery.
All 4 on the bottom and all 4 on the top are gone.
She was scheduled to go in for 1 tooth extraction.
1 bottom right tooth and come out missing all of them.
Brandy wanted to sue Dr. Schneider, but the attorney she calls, John Phillips, won't touch the case.
You know, what you have in Dr. Schneider cases is 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds who now must confront a dentist that's been a dentist in this town for nearly 50 years. It's the worst he said, she said you'd ever want to be a part of.
But Brandy is no quitter. Determined to raise hell, she turns her minivan into a rolling billboard. And in April last year, she hits a big nerve with 1 click of a button online.
I hesitated at first doing it, but then I just hit post and it posted, and within an hour, it was going crazy.
Brandy had a post that was shared 350-something thousand times. 350,000 times. In a town where there's less than 1 million people, you know, Brad and Angelina kind of share levels was pretty phenomenal.
Within 24 hours, that throng of protesters hits the sidewalk outside Dr. Schneider's clinic.
Protesters who accuse dentist Howard Schneider of maltreatment and abuse are still in front of his office now in their 2nd week. Despite all of that, dentist Schneider is still open for business.
You're out there every day. Did you ever see him?
Every day, flicking us a bird.
I wish you would.
Fingers fly and tempers flare between the dentist and his accusers.
Who here's had healthy teeth pulled? Basically everyone. Okay.
We met a group of families with similar complaints, and the outrage there was palpable.
Who here in this room has a child whose teeth none of their teeth ever came out naturally?
He's never lost a tooth naturally.
Because they were all pulled by Dr. Schneider.
The permanents need to come in, so we need to remove these. This is what he said to me.
He don't care about people, and he definitely don't care about innocent children who can't even defend themselves.
Shireen Christopher recorded this on her smartphone. Her son Zion screaming as 16 metal caps were implanted in his mouth. Unexpectedly, says his mom.
Was there ever any explanation for the 16 caps?
Nothing.
Disturbing as it looks, dentists who do the full metal mouth treatment on kids argue that it can't prevent serious problems, especially among poorer kids who eat more sugar and brush less frequently. That video also going viral.
The teeth look perfectly normal.
And now, attorney John Phillips felt he had a case.
And I said, all right, I'm taking these cases. I put it out there. And the next day, we got 60 phone calls. The most important thing is the individual here.
Phillips and his staff go to work on what would become 131 individual civil actions against Dr. Schneider.
And then you see the bruising and the neck marks. To find out that a medical professional had done this is shocking.
Phillips is raising questions about many of Dr. Schneider's methods. For example, the use of restraints like the orange Velcro wrapped around Zion Christopher, called a papoose board.
If you want to look at it another way, you could call it a baby straitjacket.
Dr. Michael Davis is a dental ethics expert.
Why would a dentist need to use one of these papoose boards?
An ethical doctor wants to maximize production dollars under the Medicaid system. That means do as much dentistry as you can within the shortest amount of time feasible.
So you don't want to have to cajole or talk to the kid or coax them to opening their mouth. You need them in there, mouth open.
Bada boom, get them in, get them out, make the dollars.
Florida Medicaid records indicate Dr. Schneider made a lot of them off the poor. Nearly $4 million in government payments in only 5 years. Recently, a few states have begun to regulate or limit controversial treatments, such as how long a child can be restrained in a papoose board and the number of procedures a child might be subjected to in a single visit. But Florida is not one of them, so papoose boards remain legal there.
I know, I'm sorry. It was just, we want to make sure we hear
At
from the
first, here on local TV station WJXT, Dr. Schneider seemed almost cordial in defense of his methods.
We do not strap them. With the help of the parent in a professional manner and using a pedo board, we wrap them so they will not fall out and hurt themselves.
But shortly after that interview, his clinic shuts its doors. By voluntarily surrendering his license to practice dentistry, he avoids a full dental board investigation. But Dr. Schneider's problems have only just begun. This past November, he was arrested and charged with 11 counts of Medicaid provider fraud and 1 count of scheming with intent to defraud. After his release, we paid a visit to Dr. Schneider's clinic to see if he has anything to say.
No answer.
Suddenly, his station wagon rolls into the alley.
Where are you going? Stop, just stop for 1 second.
I ask him about the allegations of choking and other abuse.
When you see this video of these kids, you've seen this on Facebook, this kid screaming, what is going on here?
His denial is laced with profanity.
He says he didn't do any of it, all the allegations are false. He said that giving up his medical practice was in no way an admission of guilt. He insists that he used anesthesia, that he was a great dentist practicing for over 50 years.
The next day, a process server approaches Dr. Schneider in the driveway of his home.
My name is Erin. I'm a process server.
With a bag full of legal notices and a camera crew hired by the family's legal team. In their video, Schneider runs his car up onto his front lawn. He then tosses that heavy bag full of civil legal notices, attacks the camera, hurls a flashlight, and finally throws a can of shaving cream. In recent months, he has settled 104 of Phillips' total of 131 lawsuits, including those brought by the families of little Zion and Brielle, but without admitting any wrongdoing. Though things are not likely to get better for him anytime soon. His wife has filed for divorce, his bank moved to foreclose on his house. And he still faces a possible criminal trial on the Medicaid fraud charges after pleading not guilty. He'll be back in court in November for a hearing on a defense motion to avoid a trial by having him declared mentally incompetent. But there will be no sympathy for Dr. Howard Schneider from the woman who ignited the crusade to bring him down.
I think he's just an old, greedy, selfish man.
For Nightline, I'm Matt Gutman in Jacksonville, Florida.